early days of the history. Communities were the way for people to get the food. Early days of the history, communities were the way for people to keep their kids safe. It was the way to survive. Luckily for us, nowadays we don't need to be a community to stay alive. Now we have Albert Heijn, we are living in secure society, we don't have to be together to stay safe. But this basic instinct to be a part of group, to be a part of people, stayed deep in our limbic brain, in our prehistoric part of the brain. Nowadays, we form communities not to secure ourselves, but nowadays we form communities around the interests, around people who share the same ideas and the same passions as we do. Some of you may know that back in Ukraine I'm running Google developer groups. It's an open and volunteer geek community around Google technologies. But very few of you know that besides Google developers, I started a few more communities that were not that successful, to say a bit. Like game developer community or a community about smart devices. Today I want to share with you some ideas, some experience that I got over 5 years of running different communities and groups of people. And first thing to understand that behind any community there is a group of people. There is a core organizational team. We are going to focus on that. 5 years ago, when we started Google developer groups, we were just 3 of friends who were passionate, who were willing to create something cool, to run events. We ran our first event for around 60 people or so. Now, basically 2 weeks ago, we ran an event for 1,000 developers. We brought people from all around Ukraine, experts from all around the world. Our team now is 11 people. And it's not like running something on a free time. Our team is putting every effort, every possibility we have, every bit of free time to organize the best event possible. To put it into perspective, for the last 2 months of the organization, after coming from work, I spent time to communicate with speakers, to communicate with sponsors till 1, till 2 a.m. And you may ask, Vitaliy, why do you do that? Why do you do that to yourself? Why do you spend your free time running community? Did you got an injury? What do your parents say? Why don't you do something else? To answer this why question, let's look a bit back into the history on how did we started Google developer groups. We were just 3 of friends. We were getting back from a competition. We were hyped in the train, and so like, wow, we were so excited. We saw beams there. We saw this group of people getting together. Let's run something cool in our city. We drew this picture, we posted it in Twitter. That's how our community started. We were excited. Our first event passed, and the first stage when community is just started is just a bunch of people that are excited to do something. This is excitement. The first phase of forming the community. The problem is excitement, that it tends to last for a very short period of time. If you are looking into the simple graph, we have the time of existence of the community, and vertical scale is the motivation that organizers have to run the event. It's behind the gray dots. Just to give some inspiration. And when you just start running the community, you're excited, you are willing to create something new, something that were not there before. So you are creating something. But if you don't know why you are doing this, if you didn't spend the time to define why are you doing this, you are going to waste your motivation instantly. And that's what happened with community around smart devices. We were like super excited. It was a hype, like smart homes, smart cars, smart everything. We ran 3 events, and it died. We didn't spend time to establish the base, why you are running the community. On the other hand, if you define why you're running the community, you move to the next phase. You have more ideas, more topics to cover, more people are coming, your team of organizers is growing. And then you enter the second phase. I call it flow. And the flow is when everything is good, you keep organizing events, people keep coming, but nothing exciting is happening. And slowly your motivation is degrading. And we had this situation, Google developers, after first year of running the community, we slowly were running out of ideas of what kind of events to organize, how to keep people interested, why we actually doing that. And then something happened. And that's actually how our game dev community died. We ran out of ideas for events. Our team of Google developers went to a conference in Warsaw. It was a beautiful event. Cinema, huge screen, a lot of people, great speakers. We were so inspired again that we decided, let's do the same in Ukraine. And we started doing such a huge conferences at least once a year. And it brought the same spikes of motivation over and over again. I call this sustainable flow of the community. When you lose your motivation, you run something big, something that requires to push from yourself, and you are back on track. And it was going for a long time. In this stage, community can last for a long, long time. And most part of community stay in that stage forever. But you can push even further. On one of the evenings, we were sitting with one of my co-founders around campfire, drinking whiskey, thinking about life. And he said, you know what? We made not just community. We made not just conference. We made a product. And starting from that time, we started looking into the conference that we are running, into the events that we are doing, not like a just community gathering, but as a product. You can think like a MacBook or any other good. You bring something to people, they get value, you get some value. And we started looking into running the community as a business, not profit, but still business. We had this a moment of shift, the third phase that defines the community. And that's the phase, I believe, that allows us to grow. When we started applying the practices from product development, like looking into our marketing strategy, into brand development, collecting feedback, improving that each and every aspect of our product, we got to something that allowed not only the community growth, but also to grow us as a personalities. We created a space for ourselves that allowed to experiment with the ideas that we couldn't implement on our job because it was too risky. It was not allowed by some rules. In a community where we define our own rules, we could do whatever we wanted. And it was absolutely brilliant. The community were getting better events, we were getting new experience. And when you push the bar even higher and higher and higher, you get this nice upgoing graph of your motivation. Nowadays, our community is up and going, and we are super excited. We are doing higher quality, better events, bigger events, and more often events. And that's, I believe, the way to grow. To recap everything, if you decided to start a community, first and the most important, define your why. Understand why you are doing this community. Understand what is going to push you after a year, after 2 years. Define something that is going to bring this motivation to you every year, every month. So define something that is going to push your motivation in a recurring way. And create a space for your team to grow. Because that's the key that allows you to sustain. Thank you.